Major car studio pushes to put him in the film so they can advertise their product. And he got to be on for 42 seconds. Even I've done better than that. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're continuing our look at Studio Month with a regular Studio Series figure. This is Sideways, featured in the second of the live-action films, Revenge of the Fallen. Now, Sideways here is an interesting case, but he does have his own special place in the Transformer media. He was the first car in the live-action series to be pushed for to be in that was not made by General Motors. Now, we say it like that because technically he isn't the first non-GM car to be in one of the live-action films. That honor goes to Barricade, as he was a Ford product. However, since Ford took offense to being portrayed as the bad guys in the movie, they decided not to push for any vehicles to be in these films. Audi, however, wanted to have some of their cars featured in a lot of the big blockbuster movies that year. So they pushed, and an Audi R8 was put in Revenge of the Fallen. Unfortunately, it and Sideways here, like Larry pointed out, was in the film for only 42 seconds. Not necessarily a whole lot of screen time, especially at the beginning of the movie. But then again, Revenge of the Fallen is still not remembered as one of the great Transformer films. However, there is also an interesting bit with the licensing about the Audi car that was used. Audi only agreed for the licensing on some of the visual media, but not any physical media. What that boils down to is that the car on screen was an official Audi product, and his appearances in some of the subsequent video games based on the movie, like the PlayStation 2 and Wii versions of Revenge of the Fallen, were able to prominently feature the Audi logos on him, but physical media, like all toys, including this one, do not feature any licensing of it, so they are an approximation of an Audi R8. Because, I mean, here's the box, and you can clearly see here on the back of the box, he does not have anything stating that he is a licensed product by Audi. Even though the movie has not been out for years, and this is the latest toy made for it. Of course, that also means that he's not totally screen accurate, but of course that also goes with his gun. His gun is based more from his appearance in the video games. So I guess in some ways you could say that Sideways here is a precursor to the upcoming Cybertron editions that will be put out for the Studio series. In case you hadn't heard, Hasbro is going to expand the Studio series to cover the Cybertron series of video games that were put out by Activision. So, those will be coming up. Take that as you may. Alright, before we start looking at Sideways, let's set him aside here. We can see his backdrop, which of course features a scene in Shanghai, which was where Sideways was featured. Before he gets chased down by RC and the twins, and finally bisected by Sideswipe. course, then again, most of us remember the Shanghai scenes more for introducing us to the two ghetto Transformers that we all like to forget. So, the less said, the better. Moving right along now. You may notice we're having a little trouble keeping Sideways standing up. The Transformer Wikia mentions that quite a few of the Sideways toys, like this one, have some very bad ankle articulation. It's very, very loose, and it does make it difficult for him to stand up. Attaching his gun and pointing it down to the floor is the best way to get him to stay standing up. But then it limits him trying to look like he's actually doing anything. In the meantime, let's take a look at this gun as we pop it free from his hands. And then there is it's more than just his ankles from my example. His hip shifted on him, man. That's what caused the leg to give out from under him. But at any rate, we'll take a look here at this gun. It's a nice tri-barreled design. Very science fiction-y. It's also very difficult for him to hold on to it, since it has to be put in a special way. Like the instructions show, you have to open the hand up all the way, and then you stick it with the post pointing outward over his hand. Now, let me take that back. The post goes inward. Excuse me. And then there you go. We'll get that out of the way. And let's take a look now at Sideways' articulation. He's got probably about what you'd expect for a studio figure. The head does turn from side to side. It is a little difficult, especially for big fingers like mine, to turn it there. His head is on a bit of a ball joint, so it will look up and down a bit. His arms can only be stretched out about so far. They do rotate at the shoulder all the way. You do have to kind of watch the kibble all around him. You can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees. And he does feature something of a swivel at the bicep. So he has G.I. Joe battle grip. You can twist him at his hips, so he can do some dance moves. Maybe that would have saved his life in the film. He does have something of a thigh cut. It isn't much, because it only allows the legs to bend inwards. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. And as we also said, he has ankle articulation. It can be twisted all the way around, and it will bend at 90 degrees. So all in all, he does have quite a bit of articulation going for him. A little bit more than what you would expect. Unfortunately, it also means he's a big pain to get standing up. One other thing to mention with his gun is that it can be stored here on his backside. All you have to do is just turn it around here, and then we'll use the side that has these two prongs pointed up, and it will connect right in here, right where the exhaust pipes are. And then that way you can store the gun if you'd rather not have him hold it. There we go. Now we're going to transform him. He isn't too much of a troublemaker. Famous last words. We start here with his hands. Failed to mention that his hands are also articulated, because you can open the fingers and shift the thumb. So you can look like he's got a closed fist. But at any rate, you want to bring the fingers inwards and shift the thumbs so they rest against the arms. There we go. And next we're going to turn him around. We're going to fold up this little plate here above his head. And then while we are at it, we will bring down his back so it starts to form the back end of the car. So then now with that out of the way, we're then going to slowly raise it all the way up and separate it from his chest so that you pretty much, the whole car is more or less a shell around him. But basically get things kind of straightened out. Then we're going to come down here to his legs. We rotate them around like so. And then you're going to fold the feet so that they point outwards. Try to also straighten his legs out a bit. Now, of course, once we've done that, his legs need to be brought inside, and they will connect to his body. There are little posts right here where his shoulders would be, and they should line up and connect to these holes right where my thumbnail, this one right here, where it's pointing at, on his legs. And then that way it will secure his legs in. May have to make minute adjustments to the knees to get them to fit, but then there we go. And his feet now cover his face. And of course, there's also a small connection to be done here at the feet, so you can snap that into place. And then that will hold everything together down here. So then now comes the fun part of shifting everything on the back side. We start by straightening things out. Then we also want to rotate the arms so the arms come backward, because they're going to form the doors to the car. So once we have them shifted, we start working them in by their shoulders inside, so we can try to line it up, line the wheels up with the front fenders. Do-do-do-do. There we go. Of course, once we got them in, let's get the legs shifted a bit. Like this. And we sort of stretch the arms towards the back. And then we're going to fix the front bumper inwards like that. That way it kind of lines itself up. And then now we start working on getting all of the car attached. Keep the side windows up a bit. Stretch this bit out towards the back. We adjust the hands so that it brings out the back wheels. Get back wheels out. And then we can start working on getting everything connected. You'll have to open the hands a little bit, because the hands will reach around here, kind of wrap around his thighs. Get these posts to line up. And kind of straighten everything as we go. Things are kind of popping free here. There we go. Got that in. Got that one in. Of course, once we got all the sides connected, we can fold this piece down on the front to complete the hood. And bring down the sides of the windows. Side windows so they lock in. Make a little adjustment here so that it gets in there. There we go. Almost. Pop this one free again. This side just doesn't want to stay in for us. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. And then the sides would quit popping free on us. It's one notorious thing about these. I've only played with it once when we got it. There we go. There we are. It's all together now. And sideways, of course, becomes an approximation of an Audi R8. And now we can just simply attach the gun back here. And that way you can store the gun, at least, in car mode. Kind of detracts a little from the appearance. He does roll okay. He could roll better, but I think that's from part of the pieces sticking out underneath him. Yeah, his chest comes out a little bit too far. I don't think there's really much we can do about that. At any rate, we get down to my thoughts. Well, Sideways is an interesting addition for this lineup. I mean, I'd like him a little bit better if he was a licensed figure from Audi, and I kind of think that was a missed opportunity, but that's their call, not mine to make. I would have personally liked it a little better so that he would look a little bit more like how he should have appeared, but I guess that's a minor gripe in all reality. The toy itself isn't too bad. It could have been designed a little better, especially since many of us have complained about how his ankles don't support him very well. And of course, as we noticed from me with him there, it's pretty easy to knock his gun free when it's stored on his backside. It would have been nice, I mean, they gave us this post here. Why couldn't we have a spot on the top where we could mount the gun? But I guess they didn't want him to go full-on attack mode or something. Whatever. But all in all, this one isn't too bad of one to have in your collection. I kind of like how he looks, despite the fact that he's not totally accurate to his appearance. That's been a hindrance before, but I think the silver accents go better on him. But that's just my opinion. At any rate, that's my look at the studio version of Sideways from Revenge of the Fallen. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content we feature here on this channel, please do remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.